everyone, welcome back to another video. Today's video is sponsored by Gobege. Gobege went ahead and sent me their air compressor, and I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick test and review for you guys. So this is their air compressor. It's a single cylinder. It's very similar to the one that I used, so I'm really interested to see how it's gonna perform. So this is Gobege air compressor, link in the video description. Let's go ahead and read some of their specs real quick. 150 psi, 12 volts, 45 amps, rated power 580 watts, output volume 6.35 CFM at 0 psi. The cylinder diameter or 60 millimeter. Air hose is 26 feet. The power cord to connect to your battery is 8 foot. Comes with 3 nozzle. Weight is about 16 pounds. So it's not this one here. It's this one over here. It comes in a bag. Now, if you guys are familiar with the more flat and the Nappa, which is this one here, you guys know what I'm referring to. So this is very similar to like the Nappa. We're just gonna refer to the Nappa one, but it's a single cylinder. I do like the way it looks. It looks more prettier. So it comes with the hose right here. I'll show you guys all the details here shortly. So this is what it looks like, guys. Pretty amazing. It comes with some books and some air nozzle. These are for stuff like you want to air up like basketball or balloons and stuff like that. We're not gonna talk about this because we're focusing on just automotive airing up your tires. So this is their air compressor. Typical wires, very similar like the Nappa one. Like say, all the quality is very similar. I do like the way this one is. It does feel a little bit more heavy duty. This piece here isn't plastic versus the other one. It's plastic. And again, it's a single cylinder. Has an on-off switch right here, and also has a button right here for a circuit breaker. And then you connect your quick disconnect for your air hose right here. Now keep in mind that the quick disconnect, it's not your typical quick disconnect for all your air hoses, air tools. I'm not sure what these size are, but these wouldn't work with this right here. Or let me check if they do work. If it does work, it'll be kind of awesome. Oh, it does work. Holy smoke. It works. So they have updated this. So the Nappa, when they come out with the Nappa, when it comes fresh from the box, it comes with the little fittings, and the fittings are some weird size fitting that don't work with your standard fitting, your 1/4 inch right here. So this one works with the new air hose. But guys, that's pretty much it right there. This is it right here. It looks pretty cool. It's orange, 150 psi. We're gonna go ahead and do a test on 2 of my vehicles behind me. The one behind me is the Toyota pickup 265 75 16. I'm gonna go ahead and air it down to 10 psi, and then we're gonna bring it back up to 32 psi. And then on my Land Cruiser, I'm currently running 25 psi, but on my Land Cruiser, I'll go ahead and drop it to 10 psi and bring it back up to 30 psi. The Land Cruiser has bigger tires. Those are 38 inches, 13.5 by 17s. So we're gonna air them up and see how fast it is. In between the air ups, I'm gonna let this cool down for about 10 to 15 minutes to give it a fair testing, and then after that we'll go ahead and test out the Nappa. Now let me show you the Nappa one and see, so you guys can see what that one looks like if you guys aren't familiar with that one. So this one is the Nappa one, and like I said, there's other companies that make the same kind. They just put their own logo on it. I have the Nappa. I have the other one that was sent from another company called Tazala's, and I have 2 of those. So I actually have about 3 of these guys right now. This is the one that stays in the garage. I have one that goes in the pickup all the time, and then one that stays in the Land Cruiser all the time. So I have 3 of these guys, and I have modified them so that they have a quick they have all of these right here. I modified them so they have a pressure switch and also the little quick disconnect like this right here, which is pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and test the same comparison on the vehicles. We'll inflate, and obviously I already know which one's gonna air it faster. Obviously this one, because this one has 2 cylinders working together. This is what the hose look like. Comes like that. Has a little gauge right here. Also come with this piece right here. It's like a connect. I'm not really a fan of these, but we're gonna go ahead and use what came with it. This right here gets threaded to this, or you can thread this directly to the valve stem. So we're gonna use this piece right here as one piece. Has a plenty long cord, and it has a little quick disconnect which plugs into right here. Has a restart and on-off button. I'm excited to see if this one has a built-in pressure switch. So the pressure switch, what it does is when you turn it on, it'll build pressure and then it'll stop until you start using it. If it doesn't have a pressure switch, what's going to happen is when you turn it on, it's just going to keep on running regardless if you're airing up or not. So that's the reason why I have installed a pressure switch on these right here, because it's a very simple modification, very popular modification that everyone does on these kind of air compressor. So overall, it looks really nice. The handle is much more nicer. It's metal versus a plastic one right here. So this one does feel a little bit more heavy duty as far as build quality, but again, it's only a 1-cylinder. So I'm impressed to see what this thing can do. I'm gonna go ahead and hook it up and turn on real quick and see if this thing has a pressure switch or not. When you do start using your air compressor, you want to make sure your vehicle is running. My vehicle is not running at this moment. Oh, I have it in on right now. Okay, so I have it turned off right now, guys. Let's see if it turns on. When you turn it on, if it keeps running, it doesn't have a pressure switch. So this right here does not have a pressure switch, which means it's gonna keep running regardless when you turn it on, which is kind of bad. But again, you can modify this. I'm pretty sure you can modify this and put a pressure switch in it. So if you guys have one of these, definitely look up how to add a pressure switch, because it'll make your life way more easier. Hooking the quick disconnect is pretty simple. 265, 75, 16, we're gonna air it down to 10 psi and air it back up to 30 psi. Maybe 32 psi, because 32 is usually what I run. Alright guys, so this isn't precise measurement. We're gonna be around the 10 psi. So you can see right there, 10 psi, however this accurate is. We'll go ahead and turn on the truck and turn on the air compressor. So right there, guys, so 25, 30, we're about 35 psi, guys. So to get to 35 psi took about just under 3 minutes. The gauge says 35. Let's go ahead and see what it reads on the So this one says 38 psi. So to get from 10 to 38 psi took us about 3 minutes. Let's just say about 2.5 minutes. Let's go ahead and drop it down and test it with the other one. We'll go back to 10 psi and we'll let this one cool down and we'll test the Baja 38. We are now back to 10 psi and we're gonna run the Nappa. Like I said, this one has a pressure switch, so when I turn it on, it's gonna pressurize. And then it's gonna when I give it air, it will start activating. So let's go ahead and see what this gets to for 30. We'll go ahead and get it to 32 psi. Here we go. Can you guys see the clock? Alright, I'm gonna stop at 1 minute and 6. That's pretty damn fast. That's almost half. That's almost double the speed of this right here. So there we are. We're at 32 psi, which is exactly what I wanted. So even though we didn't get it to 38 psi, this right here just shows you how fast this guy can get to. 38, 13.5, 17 Baja Pros XS. These are big boy tires. I went ahead and lowered it to 10 psi. You can't really tell that it's low because, like I say, these are big boy tires. But just to show you guys that it is 10 psi. Barely see it. So we're gonna go ahead and test out with the Gobege single cylinder, and we'll see how fast this thing airs up. I'm gonna guess it's gonna take about 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes or so to get it up to I'm gonna bring it up to 32 psi, around 30 or 32 psi. Now we're at 30 psi, guys. So it takes about 4.5 minutes. Let's just say 4 minutes and 15 seconds to get it to 30 psi from 10 to 30. So right at 32 psi. These tires, I run them at 25 psi. I'm now gonna go ahead and air up the 38-inch tire with the Nappa one, the twin cylinder. Keep in mind, guys, that most average compressor, like the one that we're testing now, the Gobege, most compressors that are around that specs, it usually takes around 4 to 5 minutes to air up one tire. Now, keep in mind that the Nappa one that I have here, that I carry with my Land Cruiser, I have it set up for a 4-way where it airs 4 tires up at once. And when I do it that way, I can air all my 4 tires, the 38s, 10.5, 13.5, 17s. I can air all 4 of them up within 5 minutes. So I can air them back up in 5 minutes, which is a time killer, the time-saving deal. Because if you think about it, 5 minutes on each tire times 4, it's going to take you about 20 minutes to 25 minutes, because every time you keep going, it actually gets hotter. So the compressor takes... it's gonna take longer for the compressor to work harder when it was cooled down. So keep that into consideration when you're looking for an air compressor, and depending on what you do. Here we go with the Land Cruiser. Hook it up. Oh. Just about 1 minute and 38 seconds to get it up to about 30 psi. So right there, it's almost right at 30 psi, just under the 30 mark, so about 29 psi. So that's pretty damn fast, guys. Almost less than half the time to get it up to. Well, there you have it, guys. A quick comparison between the Gobege single cylinder and the typical Nappa twin compressor. Honest review, guys, I like the build quality, the fact that it's metal here, but overall it's slow. When you talk about an off-road compressor, for what I do and what I want to do, I'd rather go with a twin compressor. Now, if you're just a typical user that's going on a road trip or something along that line, or you like to air up once in a while and it's not super important on how fast you can get it done, this is pretty good. This will still work fine, and the quality is probably better than other smaller, cheaper compressor. Now keep in mind, guys, as of the making of this video, July 2024, this compressor runs about 150 bucks. The Nappa one, you can get it on Nappa, I believe, around 150, and then sometimes they have their 20% coupon, so you can get it for about 140 to 120 shipped to your door. And then there's other makes out there that makes the same compressor just with just a rebrand. They have compressor for around the price range. So for the price of 150 for a single cylinder, the price is a bit too high. Why would I spend that money when I can get something a little bit more faster? So overall, it's a good compressor. Most likely this will get thrown into the wife's vehicle, or I might just give this away. But fun stuff, fun review. Hope you guys enjoy, and let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys on the next video.